Hey, welcome everybody.
Wait a minute. I didn't say the thing yet. Are you
Come
doing
on.
it?
No.
Whoa, Chris, please. Coming in very hot. Welcome. This is Nerds Geeks in the Kitchen Sink. I'm one of your hosts, DK. That's Chris, the other
Yeah,
host.
it should be Nerds, Geeks, and the dumpster fire.
Well, you can't even say
Today.
it. Dump stop.
Dumpster fire.
Dump stop believing.
Yeah.
We have a guest with us today, a very, very fine guest, with a very fine show of their own. We have Bones from 5 Day Rentals. How are you doing, Bones?
Doing great. How are you, DK?
Oh man,
Chris.
Well,
I'm sorry that my alphaness and my beauty disrupted your video feed.
well, I just figured that I would be the voice of God today. So,
I thought you said your alpness.
Alphness.
Like alphaness?
You eating cats over there?
Well, I mean,
yeah, in a way.
In a way. All right. I get it. You know, I get it. Okay.
There's a hand up my ass, DK, if that's what you're getting at.
That's really what I was wondering.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you've answered that for me. How the hell is everyone? What's been going on? Chris,
yes.
You're having some technical issues, so you won't be appearing on the video.
No.
What's been going on?
Honestly, not much. Watching some movies, actually reading some comics.
Hey, me too. I brought something to talk about.
Awesome. I got a couple ones that I can't show, but
do tell.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I've actually gone back to a storyline that started in 2021. The Dark Knight of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Knights of Steel.
Yeah.
So it ran for about a year.
How was that?
It was different. I mean, it's kind of puts a whole medieval spin on the DC universe,
right? Which could be a lot of fun. I can see that.
Had some really good artwork. Story was okay, but the artwork was significantly better than the story, probably. But,
okay,
but not bad. I mean, it's better than some of the other DC stuff that's come out.
What characters are prominent in that?
The Holy Trinity.
Okay.
Sir Bat of Man.
Yeah, I mean, Harley Quinn is in it. One of the Robins are in it. Nightwing is in it. The usual suspects. But I mean, it really focuses on the Batman. It almost focuses more on the Batman Superman dynamic. Because at this point, Batman is almost like I don't know what you would call it in like the medieval European, but almost a Ronin.
Batman is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like a wandering warrior?
Wandering knight, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the Alfred situation? Is he like a Friar Tuck?
It's just so Alfred. It's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's just Alfred. He just has more fancy clothes.
Okay.
I mean, that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
Although I do like the idea of him being a friar. That's really fun.
That would have been, I thought, way better. But
just with that weird, like, middle shaved.
Of course.
Yeah.
What about Commissioner Gordon could be a friar?
Well, he would obviously be a sheriff.
No, it'd be funnier if he was a friar.
Like Kenny Rogers?
Yeah. Like Kenny Rogers. the well-known friar.
He's a chicken magnate.
He's a chicken fryer.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. But you guys. Well, I've been reading a comic book too, Chris.
What that?
And I've really, really enjoyed it. Can you see? You can see the video, right?
I can see. Yeah, I'm fine.
It's this.
Oh.
It's called Ghost Rider Unchained.
Nice.
It started in 2022.
Okay.
And this collects the first 5 issues. I think there's going to be 12 or 13 total, or 14 maybe. I don't know exactly how many in the run. But so it's gone much further than this already. And it ends on a cliffhanger, which bummed me out. But I will tell you this. This is back to basics Ghost Rider. It is Johnny Blaze dealing with Johnny Blaze during the day, Ghost Rider at night. And
the way it should be.
It's certainly the classic formula for sure. And but the way he gets it's a little, some of the stuff is a little unclear, and like some of the writing, I don't know if maybe because I'm missing some context from whatever was before this, or I don't, maybe it's just that I don't know which exact universe this takes place in, because there are some things that you wonder from the beginning, like, has he been Ghost Rider before, or is he just now become Ghost Rider? Is it almost seems like an origin story, but then it's like later you find out that it's not.
Okay.
A little bit, a couple confusing things like that aside, he goes on this cross-country adventure, basically it's a tour of horrors of the US, the Shadow Country, right?
Gotcha.
And he's just basically going across and finding these evils that have been in the shadows and come out of the shadows because the spirit of vengeance had been dormant for so long.
Right.
Bible Belt.
He's involved there. There's okay, and some of it feels weirdly like Sandman-esque.
Okay.
So like one of my favorite points in the story was, I think the second or third, I think it was the third issue. He stops to stay at this hotel as he's sort of trying to figure out what to do. And like at night, the writer will cause havoc and do things, and it will be days. Like he'll be the writer for days sometimes, and then he'll just like wake up in a dumpster and be like, "What happened? What do I do?" And the Ghost Rider will have left him like hints and clues, like, "Hey, go here, do this, talk to this person, do this thing. Make sure you're at this place on this day." And but he goes to stay at this hotel, and he checks in, and he's like, "Hey, I'll be honest with you. I don't have any money to pay for my room. Can I stay on and work and do some jobs around here just to pay for my room while I get back on my feet?" And the guy who runs the hotel is like, "Sure, yeah, that'd be great. We could really use some help." And then you find out that this dude has like secret tunnels behind all the rooms. It's like built into a cliff, not a cliff. What do you call it? Like a hillside.
Uh-huh.
So in the back, there's like these mine shafts, and there's two one-way mirrors, and he can see into every room. And he's doing something with the people who stay in the rooms, and it's not good. And so Ghost Rider unleashes some unholy fury. It's really good.
Is it ever good?
It's never good.
Is it
You're
ever
right.
good to have
You're
tunnels
right.
behind a?
It's a good point.
I mean, Psycho,
Yeah.
yeah.
But the point is, it is cool to see him go back and like just do little Ghost Rider-y stories, and he's not driving around the universe or whatever, being the Herald of Galactus or whatever he's doing nowadays. I like that stuff, but this is the Ghost Rider I want to see. He's like gets the shit kicked out of him when he turns into the Rider. His flesh melts off. Johnny Blaze burns alive every time and feels it, and it's horrible. And it's really cool. And there's some really great panels of like his face just melting away as he screams, and the skull underneath is emerging. It's really good. The last thing I'll mention about it was that the last issue, I had to go back and reread it like 3 times because I'm like, what am I missing here? There's something that I'm missing, because the last thing you see, and like I guess this is technically a spoiler, but this might make people want to read it. There's this massive like motorcycle race, and Chris, tell me if you know anything about this, because I'm not familiar with this in Marvel at all. So like if this is already a thing and I just don't remember, correct me. But there's this massive motorcycle race in this one town. It's called like Hell's Backbone or something like that. Like I'm sure I have that wrong, but it's something along those lines.
Yeah.
And basically it's supposedly the place on the earth where the veil between hell and earth is the thinnest.
Yeah, and that's something totally new.
I had never heard it.
Yeah.
It's fun. I like it. But again, kind of Sandman-esque. But the whole thing is like there's this motorcycle race, and if you win the race, you get an audience with Satan himself, and he'll grant you something. And so I thought, oh, that's really fun. It's cool, and it would make sense that like Johnny Blaze would be in that race. But then as he's rolling into town, you start to see in the background absolute characters that you recognize. And so like in one of the panels, I'm like, wait, hang on. Is that Dr. Doom? What? Is that Wolverine? What's going on? Blade is there. Dracula is there. tons and tons, multiple man, so many characters that you know are involved in this motorcycle race.
Yeah, that's something
It's
completely
insane. It is. And at first I'm like, this is what? But the more I think about it, the more absolute, just stupid fun that it is.
right.
And he does this motorcycle race, and Logan is there, and Logan helps him. And his head splits open, and this demon comes out of his brain. It's fun. I recommend it for sure.
Now I do know, and I'm curious if this will lead into it, and that was something else that I was going to talk about, that in August they're starting a crossover event with Wolverine.
Well, maybe
That
so.
and it's Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance.
Wow. Well, sign me up for
So,
that.
I mean,
Well, speaking of crossover, when DK said Devil's Backbone or Hell's Backbone, I got excited and thought you were gonna tell me it was a Airborne crossover, that
Oh.
rollerblading movie from the 90s. And
oh,
then
yeah.
No.
I got really excited.
Let me just, I don't know if you can see this. If you're watching us on YouTube, you'll be able to see. Can you see that panel?
Yeah.
Blade right next to Dracula.
Rhino. Okay.
Rhino. Yes.
Yeah, Rhino
Nick
and
Fury.
Man and Man Thing.
Yes. So at first I was mad. I'm like, this is so stupid. Why would they have them
And
do
then
this?
is that like a steampunk Iron Man in the back?
Let's see. Oh, absolutely. I think so, yes. Moon Knight is there. Daredevil is there.
That would be a lot of fun trying to match up what their motorcycles would be, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like they did that too. So it looks like
Okay.
they designed every single one. But just seeing Dracula next to Blade on motorcycles.
I can imagine as they're riding, just Blade just throws a silver stake on the side. You know,
The first thing that
looks like
happens
John
is,
Wick.
yep, the first thing that happens is they do a sword fight on those motorcycles.
Seems like a missed opportunity for like a racing game tie-in.
Oh yeah,
You know what? So I
bring
played
back the old Ghost Rider.
I played the Ghost Rider Game Boy Advance port of the tie-in video game for the Ghost Rider film from 2007 or 8 or whatever year, the Nick Cage one.
Yeah.
It's the Game Boy Advance port. And level 1 is like platforming. Level 2, motorcycle races in hell as Ghost Rider. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really fun.
I mean,
The game sucks, but it was really fun.
You know, this whole concept could be a mashup of like Mario Kart meets Ghost Rider.
I would love that.
That
Marvel
you can
Kart.
pick. Yeah, Marvel Kart.
Marvel Kart. But don't make it look like Mario Kart, like cute little characters.
No,
like,
no.
Make it extremely realistic. I want to see
Metal.
limbs
Twisted
ripping
Metal.
off.
Twisted
Yeah.
Metal is what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yes. Wait, that would rule. I would play that.
Oh yeah.
And like some characters, maybe like Iron Man can just fly around and be Iron Man. Like he doesn't even need a vehicle. He's Hulkbuster or something.
Well, no, he would have something almost like a Tron bike.
Yeah, I guess that's not as fun. I want it to just be Iron Man.
Well, his
Like-
power up would need to be like he blends with the bike and then shoots off, right?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
can
that'd
do
be
that
cool.
for a burst
Yeah.
and then he's back
Yeah.
down, you know, and
That would be cool.
Hulk can drive through walls and kind of cheat.
Right.
He doesn't have
Are
to follow
you
the
are you listening, game developers? Yeah,
Royalties, baby.
They can have
Yeah.
that for free. I just want to play it.
I want to play it.
Yeah.
I want to play it. They just re-released, I think this month on PlayStation Plus, Star Wars. Is it called Star Wars Demolition? Did you ever play that?
Mm-mm.
It was because at a certain time in the 90s, Twisted Metal was the game for about 2 years or something. And so there were all these Twisted Metal knockoff games that came out. Vigilante 8 is one of them that was actually fun. There was a few more, but the one I remember the most was the Star Wars one. It's called Star Wars Demolition. And you get to, it's like Twisted Metal, but Star Wars. And you could play as like Boba Fett or Darth Vader, and you're on your vehicles flying around destroying each other, but like on the ground. It was really fun.
Huh.
And I think they just added that. Like, so if you have PlayStation Plus, I believe you get that.
I'll have to look that up.
When's
I've got
that Twisted Metal series coming out, Chris?
I have not heard anything on it because isn't it
This year.
Mackie is in it? Yeah,
Is he Axel?
I think so. I think that's who he is.
Axle power. So good.
Yeah, I haven't heard any kind of definite date on it, so
I forget which number Twisted Metal it was, but
I'll be able to tell you.
The end screen where it's just that creepy photo of Calypso and you get the crawl of like terrified me.
Yeah,
terrified me.
You're right. I loved it. And it was very comic book-esque.
Yeah.
Those drawings. Man, I did, and I would, it was one of those things where I would sit there and play the game over and over just to see, just like Tekken or something, just to see the intro video and then the end video, just to see what the story is. We were so easy to please back then.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. Well,
the games were genuinely harder though. So
yeah,
a game would last you much longer than they do now.
I mean, how long without finding out on the on blogs and stuff like that you had to move the damn memory card from one slot to the other on Metal Gear Solid?
Oh yeah, or like that the codec number for Meryl was on the actual physical game case and nowhere in the game.
Right.
You had to look on the game case. So if you rented the game, you were out of luck.
Yeah.
You would have no way to know.
There was an NES game called Deja Vu, which was like a point and click detective story.
Mm-hmm.
I did not beat it until the internet when I printed out the walkthrough and had my buddy read it off because I just needed to get to the end. I could not I could not figure out the situation. And now you can YouTube it and watch somebody beat it in 5 minutes.
Right.
That makes me so mad.
Yeah, I know. I never watched those.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were different times, weren't they?
Yeah.
Has
anybody beat Sunset Riders?
I never have.
Oh, God, no.
No, I never have. Of course not. I did beat Battletoads and Double Dragons. So that's the Battletoad game that I finished. So that's a badge of honor for me. But never Battletoads 1. Heavens no. No one has.
Yeah.
It's never going to happen.
Well, that's Chris, the best. Go ahead.
Well, can you think of like what the hardest game you ever beat?
Oh my God. Hardest game I ever beat.
I know like a lot of people nowadays would say something like an Elden Ring or like those Souls games.
Yeah, I mean, those are pretty damn hard.
Yeah.
God, talk about back in the day. I mean, I was God, which Final Fantasy was it? The one with Cloud.
7.
Yeah. That had the Knights of the Round Table and everything. Is that the one?
Is that in 9? I thought that was in 9.
No, I think it's 7.
Or I'm confusing that knight guy who's in number 9.
Oh yeah,
what's his name? Either way, yes. Those games across multiple discs.
Yes.
Not knowing where to go, like particularly if you didn't have a strategy guide or the internet.
Yeah, and I don't think I've ever bought a strategy guide. I've always kind of done it, by the seat of my pants. And that game legitimately, your final boss literally took almost half an hour of straight gameplay to beat.
Yep. That's a good one. That's a classic.
Shit.
Bones, what about you?
I think it was called Tiger Healy.
Oh my God, I remember that.
NES game.
NES,
yes.
Yeah. Yes. And I think that was a few weekends with me and my father when he was back from deployment.
Mm-hmm.
And because it was like you had a helicopter that shot like a V pattern and then like a Jeep that had a launcher or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that was damn near impossible on your own. And that took us several weekends to get through. That was back in the day where you left the NES on and you just put it behind the TV.
Yep. I had a friend who left his N64 on for like a month and a half or something while he was trying to beat something. Oh, those are the good days.
Yeah.
Like you said, I was easier to please. Now, like I play 5 minutes of something and I'm like, nah, I'm not committed to this.
This isn't it.
I downloaded Back for Blood and started to watch the video of like the little tutorial, and it was like use cards and go on this. And I was like, nope. I'm not committing to this. Yep. I'm not. I just let me go back to Marvel Snap.
If you want, well, first of all, yes. If you want a good game that's like that, World War Z is actually a great game.
Okay.
It basically is like, what if we've modernized Left 4 Dead? And if you get it's called Aftermath, the Aftermath version, you get first or third person view. It's 4 players co-op. You get these campaigns that are a lot like Left 4 Dead or even Back 4 Blood, but they're much more simple. It's the kind of thing where you can hang out with your buds and go through the level. And it's cool because the levels are a lot more linear, but the trade-off is that you can have scripted things happen. And so there are these really cool times when, and it's in the World War Z universe. So like you'll be downtown New York and see literal thousands of zombies running down the street and coming towards you. And you have to eliminate them as a team while defending one particular thing. It's not just like kill everyone and move on. There are little goals that you have where it's like you have a hub area, then it's like go find this, go find that, and then bring it back. You have to work together to do these things, but none of it is too complicated. You can level your guns up, you can level your characters up, but you do it all in regular old school menus. When you're done in the game, you don't have to do anything in the game. You just kill, run and kill, and it's pretty fun. We've been playing that actually recently.
Oh yeah.
I like it a lot better than Back 4 Blood.
Okay.
For sure. And if you want to play, I'm pointing.
I'll ding you.
Ding me, please. Well, Chris.
Well, yeah.
I thought there was something else you wanted to chat about. What was that?
Well, I've beat Midnight Suns.
Oh, awesome.
So, once you beat it, you're just basically just scaling up all your, all your characters. But
is there a new game plus?
There is on the 26th. It is a Deadpool DLC.
I saw that.
Coming.
I saw that.
Yeah, there's a new game plus. It's kind of a middle of the road thing. Like all your stats stay up, but like you have to build your cards back up.
Okay.
So and build, like all of the hunter stats build up, and your friendships. You have to build them back up.
You don't get to keep your friendships?
No.
That's a bummer.
That is a bummer.
Yeah. Man. But I mean, and then you have to build your deck back up. But the one thing I like about this is more strategy than just say a Final Fantasy. Because one, you have, a limited amount of cards to play per character. And then you can also use the environment. And you have to like kind of coincide your attacks with the environment that you can use off of those. And there are some levels that unless I use the environment correctly, there was no way I was getting past.
Right.
So
that's cool.
I know this year they have 4 DLCs and 4 new characters coming in. So Deadpool, Storm, Venom, and I can't remember the last one.
So good choices for characters, though.
Right. So and then they're going to add story and the characters when they drop the DLCs. So
cool.
You'll get new levels.
I've been looking forward to that for a while. I just haven't had time. I've had too many other things to play.
Are they pre-scripted levels or do they adapt? Like if you do go through again, does it change? What's the term I'm looking for?
Roguelike.
Yeah.
I mean, it does have a little AI to it. So like the next time you would go through like a same level, one, it may have a few of the different, because it kind of random. Basically there's Hydra and then like the demon spawn. So they may do a combination differently per level.
So you might be facing different enemies or like different, or there are different environmental things too.
And they'll and they'll use different strategies if you play the same one over again.
That's cool.
But yeah, it's I like it a lot. So right now I think what I'll do is just kind of randomly go in. The fact that I've beat it now, I am playing the new game plus, so I'm going back through it again. But I've kept my old one, so I'm kind of doing both at the same time. So when the DLC drops, I'll go to the old.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So,
and that comes out this month?
Yeah, actually next weekend.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Something else comes out what comes out this next week? Someone read my mind.
Is
quickly.
there a movie that comes out this week?
I can't remember. I did watch a film last night. If you guys would like to talk about this,
Yes.
I finally got around to The Menu.
I liked it a lot.
You did?
Yes, I
Okay.
did.
I didn't. I didn't hate it. I just feel like maybe I didn't get it.
It was very heady, kind of.
I just was it though. I don't know. I just felt like,
or should I say, it has almost a pretentiousness to the story itself, which kind of
yes,
lends to the atmosphere of the
I get
actual
that's.
movie.
I
And
get
that's
that.
almost
That's
kinda
the
meta
point.
at
Part
that
of the
point.
joke, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the chef character is a complete tool. I don't know, the guy she's with worships this dude, but he's a tool. I don't know. There was one line that made me laugh extremely hard when Ray Fiennes says something along the lines of like, "You are the reason why art has been drained from the world," or something like that. That made me laugh so hard
Right.
because it was over something so dumb. That was like, I said to my wife, I'm like, that's like a Lebowski level line, but this movie has one of them, and Lebowski has 40 of them.
Right.
I don't know. Can you explain it? Like maybe I just didn't get it.
I mean, it's a take on critique, right?
Yeah.
And each diner is representative of some level that would suck the fun or the
Yeah.
purpose out of particular art.
Mm-hmm.
So I think because I went in not really expecting much, and it was, to me, it was like the right balance of kind of heady. It wasn't up its own ass. Like it was making
Right.
a joke on
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
And
I got that, I think.
yeah. And I will say this, one of the things I appreciated about it, thinking about it, was the representation of the diners was not too cringy for me, where it could have been much worse for like the dude Brody stockbrokers. Could have been a really
It could have
cringy
been way
thing.
over the top. Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't.
and I thought they balanced it really well. I don't know. I thought it played in a way where it was just satisfying enough. It hit the right beats to sort of keep me engaged.
Okay.
And the reveal, without going too much, the reveal of one particular character sort of brought everything back around, like her, because I kept wondering, what is his fascination with her specifically, other than she's not supposed to be there?
Right.
And her being a sacrificial lamb from the other character, without going too far,
Right.
and her just ability to identify the bullshitness in all of it. It made me appreciate Fiennes' character a little bit more. Not sympathetic,
Right.
but enough to say like, oh, he
Get
truly
him.
he's
Yeah.
he's a man of his word, at least.
Yeah.
Like he's it if he doesn't allow her to do what she does, then he's
Right.
somehow.
I think that last scene dynamic kind of played well with that. And
But
I think they kind of solidified that kind of, the duality between her and him.
Yeah. And
yeah.
I recognize I'm not quite answering like why you should get it, DK.
I mean, I get the things you're saying.
Yeah.
Like I did pick up on those things. I guess it just didn't. I didn't find it to be that funny, really. There were funny moments, sure, and some good performances, but like I don't know. Like I thought I was expecting more horror, I guess. And it's basically light on horror mostly. I thought there was gonna be more payoff to like the information on the tortillas. But then it was just nothing, right? I mean, really, it didn't amount to anything. And I was like,
I was gonna say, I think at that point with the tortilla thing, it just kind of
clues you in that something's going on.
Clues you in completely of what's going on. Kind of almost the sins of the diners.
But that's not the point. But that's what I'm saying, though. The point isn't, it's not a jigsaw. I'm punishing you for your sins. It's not that. So then why? I didn't understand why, because he's not punishing them for their sins. He's not. He's just.
Well, yes and no.
I mean, I guess
He's
he.
almost punishing them for their archetype, and the what he sees is wrong with the kind of almost the the elites of what tears down art and doesn't make it enjoyable anymore.
Okay.
So I think, because each of them kind of represent a different aspect of what an artist could be,
But then why make
up
that point?
against.
But why make that point and then the guy making that point is a crazy person and an asshole?
Well, I think in his mind, he's kind of purging all that. It's his way to purge that.
I didn't get the point. And I didn't get, like, why is no one doing anything? There are probably knives everywhere. No one wants to just get up and there's a door there.
That was
He
actually,
calls that out too.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
he calls that out.
But that's what I'm saying. Why didn't they do that? That's just seems like a way that the writing is like, well, people realistically would maybe try to get out. But if we have this character say, why didn't you try to get out? That means it's buyable, but I didn't buy it.
Right.
But, okay. I was just going to say, if you've ever been to one of those high, society restaurants that do those kind of things,
Murders.
the people almost, no, the meal wise, and not the couple of meal, anyway, you have to watch it to understand that part. Yeah. They're there and it's almost like, how do I put this? I'm trying to like think of exactly how I want to say this, but they're there for the pretension, even though it's completely, nonsensical. Some of these things,
right?
That they're there for the status and the pretentiousness of it.
I get that part of it.
And
I do.
That's why they don't.
I just felt like
it's a status thing.
But I don't know. I don't know. Like the stock guys, they wouldn't. They just wanted to get out of there. And like the lady tells him to sit down, and he just sits down. I don't know.
think that was representative of their false balls.
Bravado, yeah.
Yeah, like that they're pushed. They think they can push back. They threaten to say, "Hey, do you know who we work for?" Yeah. And all it takes is this very terrifying woman to say, "Just sit down," and they sit down. I mean,
right.
To me, it wasn't as much of a, "Hey, I'm punishing you guys." And Chris said, like, the archetypes. It was more about I'm justifying why you have been picked as a part of this piece.
Yeah.
For this piece to work, I need types, or I need people of these types.
Okay.
And these are sort of the reasons why you are here for this piece to sort of come together. And and it's not an argument. I do believe it was a light on the horror. I was expecting a lot more comedy.
Yeah.
And felt that it didn't quite deliver on that, but it was intriguing enough for me to stay along with it.
And I watched the whole thing. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
And again, like I don't want to say that I hated it. I just felt like I just didn't care about the point it was trying to make, or I don't know what it was, but it just did not land with me in the slightest.
Totally fair.
Yeah. I think more than the fact that this movie wasn't, it rode that line of not having some horror elements, but not being a horror, having some comedic elements, but not being comedic.
Yeah.
But what it does is get you talking in a conversation. And I think that's the whole.
All the movie wins then. Because look at what we're doing, man. Man.
I know. Fuck them.
But I think that was the whole aspect of the movie itself and the ideas.
That's fair. I can't argue with any of that. And
I mean, and let's be honest, in other things, how many times have we said, what the hell are some of these people doing with movies, with comic books, it's like, you're having some of these kind of archetypal, criticisms that are taking away from, the art itself, no matter what it is.
Yeah, we've had this conversation.
And I think that's this is kind of a description on that.
Okay.
And
I mean,
it's
if
just
nothing
using
else,
food. Yeah.
it made me want a cheeseburger real bad.
Oh god damn, hell
Damn,
yes.
that thing
I
looked
went and made
awesome.
one the next day.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to today, I think. I
Yeah.
mean, it really looked good.
Yeah.
I thought that
Okay.
was a beautiful scene. I can't sit here and berate you for not getting it when we're
Oh, no.
about to talk about a movie in a moment that I certainly didn't get. So
Right. Okay. Well, do we want to move on? Chris, do you have anything else before we get to Megan?
No, there was just like a couple of things. There's a couple of movies that are coming up soon. Just real fast.
Okay.
Three things. One, when we were talking about comic books and stuff, the best thing DC does is animation. And they've got a new Batman coming out.
Which one is it?
The Doom That Comes to Gotham.
It's a cool name.
It's another supernatural with it's got Batman and Intrican, the demon.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So that one's coming out. And then there's two church related horror movies. The Pope's Exorcist. It's got
Okay.
Russell Crowe.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm into it.
from what I get from his Twitter, like shot on location, like his Twitter, he was having a blast
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
filming this thing because he was out doing the Roman holiday on scooters and
Oh yeah.
photo
Oh
shoots
my
at
God.
fountains and shit. So I mean, I love Crow, so
Yeah.
it's enough to maybe get me interested.
Okay. Yeah. Same.
And then there's one that's from Shutter Productions that's coming out in theaters February 18th. It's the Consecration.
I haven't seen that one.
It's got Jenna Malone and Danny Houston in it.
Oh, I like Danny Houston, of course.
Houston's
So-
creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this
The
this
X
is-
Man.
Well, it's this girl that comes in investigating some of these happenings at a nunnery. And
It's where they milk the nuns, right?
yeah, well,
hmm
maybe
Sorry,
for blood. That was yeah.
So sad how they keep the nuns pregnant so they keep
Yeah.
producing.
Oh God. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, listeners.
But anyway,
Different show. Sorry.
yeah, it's. But anyway, no, I mean, it kind of has a little bit of like the Conjuring's The Nun to it, but this looks far more creepy. I suggest you guys watch the trailer for it.
Okay. If it's on Shutter, I'm going to watch it regardless.
No, it's coming out in theater, but it's from Shutter.
Oh, okay. In 6
one of-
months,
yeah.
I'll watch it regardless.
February 18th, yeah.
Up your alley, DK. I saw the Evil Dead Rise trailer
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
on the big
Yes.
screen. I got to ask you guys, when are we gonna stop with the demonic girl in the weird gymnastics poses?
I've felt this for a long time. Yeah. I'm done
it's
with
lost
that.
its zeal. I think that was the only part of the trailer that I wasn't too keen on. Visually,
100%.
I thought it looked incredible.
Same. I agree with you. Yeah. Linda Blair did it, and that's where it could have stopped.
Well, I think it just plays on that trope of that unnatural, distortion of the human movement. And,
Yeah.
It's talked about a lot in actual, supposed exorcisms. So I
Mhm.
think it's just one of those mainstay tropes now.
It is. It does seem like a
So-
trope where it's like you kind of have to have it. But I agree. I wish it hadn't been in there. The Raimis have a different form of it. They don't really do that either. They'll have someone going like, "Whoa,"
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
like almost like a Lugosi thing. It's not so much your classic
Distorted form, yeah.
satanically possessed person or whatever that is.
Yeah.
Did you guys watch Community?
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So obviously season 4 is the gas leak year when Harmon's not around.
Right.
And one of the things like visually that triggers me to think about how awful season 4 is they do a thing where Annie is dressed like the ring girl.
Oh,
and
yeah.
and they
Samara.
do the little
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
quick walk thing. And so whenever I see that, it just reminds me of like that terrible
Of
year
course.
of my favorite show ever.
I get that. I do get that. Yeah, I'm ready for that trope to be over. But that aside, I think Evil Dead Rise is going to be a lot of fun. I have my cheese grater ready. I'm very excited about this film. I liked Lee Cronin's last movie, The Hole in the Ground. So I think he wouldn't have been my first choice to do an Evil Dead. But from all things I've seen, it does look like it's going to be fine.
Does this connect to the other reboot? Because I never saw that one.
It doesn't seem like you haven't.
No,
It's really good.
I got Thunder in Paradise to watch, buddy.
Hey, buddy. I mean, I'm with you there. Man, would you please watch the Evil Dead remake? It's
Okay.
really, really good.
Okay.
We can talk about it on here. Hey, if we want to cover the Evil Dead Rise, you can come back and we can talk about the remake and Rise.
Yep. Do a double feature.
If you're interested.
Yeah.
I'm gonna block my schedule out so I can come back for Penguin.
Would you please?
So I can just
Yes.
rush over that for
Yep.
because right, there's no way that's gonna suck.
No.
There's no, I agree. There's no way it's going to suck. I'm really looking forward to that.
Speaking of,
Isn't it
Colin
crazy? Wait,
Yeah.
shut up. Let me talk.
Okay.
What is this world that we live
We'll
in?
get it out if you're going to
Shut up, Chris. What is this world that we live in where the DC property I'm looking forward to absolutely the most is a Penguin TV show?
Because the actor that portrayed him was the best one on screen.
I can't wait. I can't
And
wait.
The DC hit rate for shows seems to be better than movies. I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
I loved Guns.
Peacemaker.
Yeah, I love that. I waited till that built up and then just binged the shit out of that.
I was saying I binged it once that final episode dropped. I binged that one.
Even the Harley Quinn cartoon I enjoy. Guardians of the Galaxy. That seems odd. What visually about that seems different? I get that it's been some time, but
The
something
trailer for
about
the
that
third one?
yeah, the trailer and that has it's giving me a different vibe.
I would say that it's likely what he wanted all along, but they've been iterating and iterating to get here.
Honestly, kind of gun swan song for Marvel.
Can you call a Guardians of the Galaxy film a swan song?
I mean, we're supposed to have some. I mean, honestly, we're supposed to have some main character deaths in this. So
Yes, Drax, I have a penis.
yeah.
Now, can you enlighten me in the actual text of Guardians of the Galaxy? Do they
The holy
have
text? Yes.
Do they have switch outs, tag outs?
Oh yeah.
Is it
for sure?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. At one point, Peter Quill wasn't the head of the Guardians. Actually, Kitty Pryde was for a while.
oh,
And
okay.
they were married at one point. I think wasn't Beast.
I think Beast was in there for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they've
Hank
switched
McCoy?
out. Yeah,
Yeah. Hank the Tank.
Hank. Yeah, there's been several kind of switch outs.
We got to get Kelsey Grammer
Let's get him.
back.
Oh, he was
Let's get
the
him.
best one. I mean,
I don't know. I mean, I think he's the best one we've seen on screen. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
Well,
that.
that's what I mean. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's only been what 3?
Who was it in the X-Men First Class?
That was Nick from what's his name?
Holt?
Yeah.
Nicholas Holt.
Yeah. From the Menu.
Yeah.
And he's
Turned
also
out to be an incredible character actor, man.
He's in
Like,
Renfield as well. Yeah.
Universal's got a hell of a year coming up, man. Renfield. I mean, Megan's making him some money. Cocaine Bear.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's
That just
taking some
looks funny as
chances
hell.
over there.
Yeah.
I was a little bit let down by that Renfield trailer, I have to say.
Same.
But my expectation for what that movie was it does not line up at all what it actually is. So once I reckon with that, maybe I'll be able to enjoy the movie. But it just is not at all what I was expecting.
And you guys talked last episode about the action choreography, and like
Yeah.
that stuff's got to die off too.
I don't want that in there at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I honestly, for Renfield, I think Nicholas Holt is too pretty. I want him
so
a little more
good-looking.
wormy.
They could have.
I want him a little more for that character. I want him a little more squirmy and wormy.
I don't know if the actor's wrong. I think maybe just the way they're presenting him to you is wrong. I think he could do the kind of grosser Renfield, the squirmy guy who eats bugs and kills people or whatever.
Yeah.
Should have been McLovin.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
I don't really disagree with you. Like, he could do it. He could really be good.
I thought he was all right as was it Red Mist? Was that his character's name in
It was
Kick-Ass?
red something. Yeah.
I thought it was Pink Mist. Red
No,
Mist.
it was red. It was red.
I guess it would have been red. Yeah. Pink
Yeah.
Mist is a gunship song, maybe. I don't know. I gotta go to bed. Let's talk Megan.
Okay.
I guess let's just go around and do initial thoughts. Chris, what were your basic thoughts?
And
we are going
about it last time.
we're going to drop
gonna
some
spoil
spoilers.
the hell out
Yeah.
of it this time. I thought it was a fun, just popcorn, light horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Had some comedy to it. Had a little bit of horror. Wasn't over the top gory. Just an old school kind of fun, nonsensical horror movie. Chucky meets American Girl doll.
Yeah. Yeah. Bones, your rebuttal?
I'll echo a lot of that. I think it's sadly getting built up a little bit too much. And I think that was my problem going in. I was expecting way too much.
That's what I felt about the menu. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And sadly, I think I was let down. I got some other details that we'll go into, but I would call it dumb, fun, but dumb. Ultimately.
Now, I'll be curious at how it coming out when that version comes out, how that'll make a difference, if it will make a difference.
Yeah.
Because there's an R version that is coming out, whether it's streaming or if they re-release it.
Let me talk about that for a second.
Okay.
I recently watched a movie on Netflix called The Invitation, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And it's a vampire movie where it's rated PG-13, and it's just like they have all these ideas about some interesting vampire-y things.
Right.
You don't ever see any of the violence, that you see hardly any of the blood. The sexuality is essentially gone. And it seems like it really needed those things for it to work for me.
Yeah, right.
But by that same token, when I see Megan, I don't feel like I needed those things. Like,
no,
I think an R-rated version of Megan for me would be unnecessary.
I know on the R version it's just a little more violence.
Mm-hmm.
I know at one point there's one scene that you see some of the kill, but this one there's a lot more to it.
Okay.
You know, the elevator scene.
That's what I was going to guess. Yeah.
Yeah. With The Invitation, there is a director's cut that has a lot more.
Right.
Of
that's what I was saying. Like,
what's missing.
That's why I brought that one up in particular, because
right.
It's like, why wasn't that just the version that came out?
Yeah.
Stupid studios. But no, I liked Megan quite a bit. And this is the thing I always end up saying, I think, but like, I took Zora to see it. It was her first horror film in the theater.
Right.
And she had a blast. And I had fun getting to see her like witness the tropes and the things for the first time. So like, for her, it was extra powerful.
Yeah.
And the fun of that just, it did color my experience a little bit. The movie itself, like, objectively, yeah, it's a little light on the gore or whatever. Maybe there's not a lot of substance to it really, but because I had such a good time, like, it gets a definite thumbs up. Like, we'll be in the theater for the second one for sure.
I think it's a good starter horror film.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's almost that Happy Death Day kind
Which
of.
I really liked the first one.
Right.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, we had a really good time though, and some of it, like, I did feel like it knew what it was doing. Like, when she breaks into song randomly,
yeah,
I was laughing. I mean, it was touching, but also hilarious.
I will never hear Titanium the same way again.
Even before that,
but yeah, some of those, yeah.
During the demonstration, when she sings the song, I was like, this is like the ultimate version of like the little girl's dream toy thing.
Right.
Like, it's like when you see the commercial and the kids are playing with it, and you want to do that exact thing, and you think it will be that awesome, and then you get the toy and it's never like that.
Right.
But in this, it's like, that is it. That's exactly it. And it seems like they're playing with that a little bit, and I bought right into it right away. So for me, that aspect of it just completely worked. And I had to say this too. The aspect of me having Zora with me, and she's 10. They had those commercials at the beginning for those toys, those dolls that shit themselves or whatever.
Right.
And Zora
or something per something.
Yeah.
And Zora, like, I could tell she was like,
I want one.
she was thinking like, is that real? Can we get that?
Yeah.
Like, is this a commercial?
Yeah.
And so that added to the fun of like, it was like for her, but also totally twisting that exact thing around.
Yeah.
It like served both masters in that situation. I thought it was great.
Right.
And the dancing and stuff, like, it didn't seem, I was on board for the ridiculous.
Right.
It didn't seem out of place really to me. Like, it lined right up. Like, that doll learned everything from the girl, and like, you see the girl dancing earlier, and it just makes sense that the doll would,
Right.
you know, I liked it. I liked it a lot. So again, I would not recommend it as the hardcore horror film of the year. Obviously, it's not that.
No,
it's not that. But the fun, scary moments were fun and light enough that they, you know, they weren't a big deal. It was fine for her to watch, and just we would consider that a fun afternoon at the movies, and we had a great time.
I think it just spread too wide a net for me, and it didn't hit any particular point well enough.
Sure.
Like, I felt a little up my own ass when people in the theater were laughing, because it was a relatively stacked house, and any sort of reveal to her, I don't know if we're in spoiler-ish territory.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they would cut at the school outing, and they cut to her like sitting in the with all the stuffed animals and stuff,
Yeah.
that got a huge laugh, and I was like, that's cute. And then the cop makes a joke about the kid dying and says, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh about that. That to me was like the funniest thing, and it fell flat.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a big problem of the movie for me was, like, all I kept thinking was Asimov. Like, the logic of the design and all of the logic of their decision making. Like, they're supposed to be these incredibly smart robotics engineers, and they make every wrong decision
right out of the gate
possible.
Yes.
And
Yes.
And that just goes back to me being like so critical from the offset. And a lot of the dialogue initially is just so, like, when dude comes in and drops the box and she's like, is that what I think it is? Yeah. I was like, okay, I know what this fucking movie is. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
I want to talk about the Asimov thing. Because I did feel that too in the theater. I'm like, why would this even be an option for this kid's toy? But as it went and they didn't address it at all, I was like, oh, I don't have to think about that. Okay. I would think they really didn't address it at all.
Didn't at all.
It didn't come up. And so I was just like, oh, I kind of appreciate that I didn't have to deal with these characters grappling with, like, should we have all that stuff? It's just like, no, we did it. And we're just get to watch the fun results.
Right.
Well, there were a few times where she's like in diagnostics and she's doing stuff, and Gemma is even like, shit, I didn't have time to program her thing of like not connecting to the internet or whatever. And I know that's the script's way of sort of bridging the gap and explaining it for you, but why is she made out of titanium? Why does she need to? I get like being robust, but she could be built out of, some sort of printed 3D material and still be able to, like,
right.
And if that's the joke, I'm sorry that I'm not getting it. But if she had thrown like Megan's AI and Bruce, which, hey, there should have been way more Bruce.
Yeah.
Like, I could maybe understand, like, she's trying to fix it real quick. And then maybe she's saying like, all right, she's made out of titanium, but the next one will be made out of some polycarbonate.
Right. This is our prototype.
Can't choke you. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the AI part of it, I was thinking, and this was never addressed. This was like something that she had developed for Bruce, and she just kind of threw it in because
Mhm.
of time constraints.
Right, that
Yeah.
she'd been working on it for
That was kind
years.
of, yeah, that she had
Yeah.
been working on it for Bruce, but never implemented it into
Yeah.
him.
I believe that was the thing.
You know,
Mhm.
it never addressed that at all. But I was thinking maybe that's what they were trying you just to jump to that conclusion.
Yeah, it was their way of bridging
So,
that gap, like Bone
and
said.
then, for the fact that maybe she was working before she actually made the Megan herself with the titanium, she was making a smaller Bruce.
As soon as Bruce appeared on
Yeah.
the screen, I was
Yeah.
like, Bruce is going to fight Megan, and I can't wait to see
Oh,
it.
I know that was so awesome.
I leaned over to my wife and I was like, I can't wait to see those robots fight.
Yeah.
I thought that, but I thought that initially and then went, no, they're going to have Megan control Bruce.
At
I
first,
also thought
that
that
was
And I
another
was
thing,
like, that would even be cooler. I thought, like, after she's fucked up, she hacks into Bruce and then
Yeah.
Bruce is just busting through the house.
Yeah,
yeah,
But
absolutely. I agree. Yeah, that would have been another fun way to go.
right.
Man, yeah, no, I think I completely understand your complaints.
Right.
I get it. I do. It really helped me that Zora got to come,
Yeah.
and we talked
Yeah.
about it for a week in this house. I mean, or longer, and it's just been the thing. And like Zora will walk up to me and put her palm out and be like, "Pair with me." We loved it. We had a fun
Yeah.
time. I'm willing to forgive a lot of the things that you
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
just because the experience was good. And I did laugh in the theater and I had a good time, but I was just like, I was so ready to be into it that it was easy for me to forget
Yeah.
about those other things. But then, like, weirdly, when I think about the menu again, it's like, well, why couldn't I get into that? I wanted to. I don't know. It's weird. It's funny that we had almost the exact opposite on these.
Yeah.
Don't
when
get me wrong.
generally
I love that budget level of film is out
it needs to be happening.
and people are going and seeing
Right.
it. I
Mhm.
mean, I had this a few years ago with Upgrade when it came out. I was
Dude.
like,
Oh,
this is fucking
yeah.
awesome that this is in a theater. I wish people would go see it.
That's the Venom
This is-
movie we should have gotten.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's Venom. I mean, God damn it. Let that guy do a Venom movie and let it be rated R.
Yeah.
I also
Well, and
loved Invisible Man.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Well, talking about, small budget getting big money, we've talked about it long ago, but Terrifier 2.
I feel like we've
I
talked
mean-
about it every episode
I know.
since it released.
Yeah. But, talking about, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
No.
literally made like 500 times the amount of money in that,
Mhm. It's
For
cool to
such
see
a
that kind of thing happening.
twisted, gory horror movie to make
It's
that
happening
much of
again.
a profit margin. Yeah.
It's happening again right now with this Skinamarink. And I don't know what that movie is.
Skinamarink is basically the long version of the videotape to bring, from The Ring.
Yeah, but I watched the trailer and I was like, yeah, this could work for me. Like, I could get into this, I think. What do you guys think about that? I mean, have you guys seen the trailer? What do you think? I
No,
keep seeing
I've seen the
people
trailer,
people on Twitter keep posting, this is the scariest part of Skinamarink, and it's like that little toy phone with the face on it.
Yeah.
I want to see that. I'm definitely intrigued.
See, that's how I felt about Plane.
Yeah,
I was like, this is fucking.
it's a movie called
this,
Plane.
This is made for me.
Yeah. I agree though. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that either.
Yeah. I'm sorry that we kept you from Plane to see Megan.
No, I'm glad I mean, it was ultimately the Alamo who didn't have it. I was kind of let down.
It was
Yeah.
their
So-
fault. Let's blame the Alamo.
When I went in,
Forget the Alamo. Am I right?
the showing was at 7:45. I walked in about 7:30 and I looked on and they had Once Upon a Time in Hollywood at 8:30. And I was like, could I
What-
just bullshit my way through Megan? Like in a review? Could I just watch that instead? And
Yeah.
like,
I'd go to see that in the theater again.
Yeah.
For sure. It was a great time.
that was one of my first Alamo experiences. We were on a road trip when that movie came out and we saw it in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That payoff at the end, my wife was so fucking tense, like squeezing my hand, like,
Yeah.
what is going to happen? What is going to happen? And I was like, just wait.
Yeah.
I remember getting antsy like 3/4 of the way through, like, where's the Tarantino violence at? What? Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
All at once. Yeah, I loved it. Had a great time. I also saw it in quite a nice theater. It was one of those higher end AMC ones that has those I almost said robot chairs. You know the robot chairs?
Mm-hmm.
What are they called? Those nice red ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
The Dream
Uh,
Lounger, like
they're
recliner.
they're
Yeah.
awesome. And you know, it was they serve you booze and it was a really great experience.
They actually played it at the Dolby Cinema at Edwardsville. The
I
Dolby
didn't go.
Theater.
I went to the
I
one
went to that one.
I went to the one on in Springfield. The one by Red Lobster. What is that? Is that what road is that?
I know what you're talking
It
about.
doesn't matter. Our listeners don't
No.
care, but I
No.
feel like I need to remember this. Dirksen. It's on Dirksen. I think.
Dickerson Parkway, yeah.
Dirksen.
No, that was a good movie to see in that.
A positive on Megan, though, I will say I did appreciate, I would say half of the kills in terms of originality.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like I thought the ear looked great,
Oh yes, it did.
and the just the very subtle red mist and the shoe on the road
Yep.
Yeah.
looked
woman
pretty
in the-
good.
The woman in the garage was really
Yeah.
fun.
Right.
Yeah.
But my I'm such a loser because the power washer comes on and I was like, she would have heard that. The motor would have been on already.
Yeah.
You know, it's like any sort of nail gun in a movie too. I'm like, there's a safety. You can't do that. Like,
Do you?
but
It really
it was.
Oh, go ahead.
No, please.
It reminded me. I was getting these weird vibes of the virtually unknown Wes Craven film Deadly Friend.
Oh
I
my
know
God, I thought about that too.
Did you too?
Yes,
The
absolutely.
basketball scene.
Yes,
Yeah.
where she throws the basketball and smashes her head.
So good. I was thinking, like, is Megan about to do a Deadly Friend? And there were some similarities there
Yeah.
in general. It's that robot coming
It's like
alive and
the-
killing people thing.
Yeah, the progressive aggression from the robot. Yeah.
Yeah. And
The
it just
dog
made
throwing Megan around looked incredible as well.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it biting the girl's arm, I think was the only like genuine jump I
Jump
had.
scare, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because it literally was kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You know.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did work. I think it was a well-made movie. I can see those faults that you're pointing at for sure. But I think at the end of the day, maybe even on a rewatch, I'll be able to appreciate it even more for just like what it does do. You know
Can
what
I-
I mean?
Can I ask you guys a question being fathers?
Yeah.
I don't have a child. I don't know if I ever will, but I'm learning that I'm getting just beyond agitated at children in movies. And I'm wondering if can you key me in? Like, was her reaction like legit for a girl of that age? Like how frustrating she was? Like I was telling my wife after when she asked about it, I was like, if I think about my top 10 movies, I don't think there's children in any of them.
Yeah.
And
I get where
I
you're
know
coming
that,
at.
Yeah.
like when she's in the back of the car and just freaking out and going from calm to like kicking the chair,
Yep.
like how
That's-
legit
It's real.
was that?
It's real for me.
Okay.
Still
I mean,
happens.
I can't say that's for me, but I think a lot of times in Hollywood, it's their perception of everything all over is just the mentality of that area. It seems like. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a specific Hollywood mentality where if it comes to kids, adults, just the way that the whole kind of environment lens, and I don't think they get a lot of. And I haven't seen too many like kids outside of that. I mean, look at every time, look at the way that, I mean, as lame as it is, the Twilight movies. There's not many high school kids that act like that. Mind you, they were all in their 20s and 30s.
Right.
But I mean, anything that you see, a lot of that is just, I honestly think it's a Hollywood mentality of their bubble.
Hmm.
and that's what they write from. A lot of these people write from. I've seen a lot more of in foreign films better depictions of kids and their attitudes and mentalities than I have honestly in the majority of Hollywood stuff.
Well, I would, I guess, disagree a little bit because Zora's definitely does that sometimes. She, if she doesn't get her way, sometimes it bubbles over and she doesn't know how to control it. And so you will get crying because you said you can't have a candy bar, or you will get kick in the back of the seat because we drove past McDonald's, that kind of stuff. It's like not all the time, but it does happen occasionally. So
Right.
Yeah.
if you're trying to show a heightened version of that, I think the depiction in Megan's pretty spot on, at least from what I have dealt with, for sure.
And I did want to key that up as a positive to the movie because like the switch of her, her parents give her 30 minutes a day of screen time.
Yep.
And Gemma's
Right.
like, I don't give a shit. And that's sort of like the kick of the whole thing. Like it's ultimately a story about our reliance on a phone that is infinite information and like
Right.
is much better. Like who wouldn't want to just be on an iPad instead of listening to your parents all day? So
Yep.
I would give it that, but it's just, I'm trying to think of another example, but when I think about like Man on Fire, what is it about Dakota Fanning in that is not frustrating?
Hmm.
That seems very real, or a Steven Spielberg portrayal of a child.
Yeah.
It's Last Action Hero, I think, is a great kid in a movie,
Right.
but very recently, Violent Night
I
had
haven't
that
been
same
able to
thing.
see it yet. Damn it!
It's on streaming now for
I
free.
really
so,
want to
yeah.
wait for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
What? Who has it?
Is it Peacock? Paramount Plus? One of them.
Okay. I'm gonna have to. We'll talk about that next time because I
Yeah.
got to see that. I can't wait to see that.
I think just the Hollywood trope. It's like almost like what DK was saying. I think they've just like turned it to 11.
Mm-hmm.
The small amount of incidences, but they've just turned it to 11.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a significant amount of these writers and stuff that don't have kids, but they see stuff outside and
In
they're
their
like,
yards.
oh well, yeah, well, I mean, just in public, and they're like, okay, kids are.
I would have to
that's the way
disagree with
they
you.
are all
I
the
don't
time.
think it. I don't think it could possibly be that because like the scene when she comes to the home for the first time, and the first thing she does is go for those toys on the shelf. Zora would absolutely do that, and she would be pissed when you're like, no, those aren't to play with. Those are just to look at. That's so real to me.
Well, yeah, and I'm not
Absolutely.
saying that it's not. I'm saying that they're just cranking that up because not all kids would do that. I mean,
No,
in
that's
all
true.
honesty,
Some
I'm
kids,
just saying.
if they would listen, God damn it, they would just go, oh, okay, no big deal. But they don't always do that. They're hard to control, these animals.
I was quite
Well-
forgiving to her in that scene, though. I thought Gemma was the
Yeah.
one that was kind of being a bitch about
And
it.
it's supposed to be played that way, just like
and
she's
Yeah.
making Megan to deal with this grief and give her that connection that she needs instead of just being there herself. I mean, I think
Right.
that's kind of the whole thing. You're right. You read that 100%. I think the way they intended.
and I know I'm coming at it from a male in his 30s who didn't have to deal with that sort of trauma when it was a teen.
Mhm.
So when I watch it stuff in movies now, I just get so frustrated at like the logic and thought process, and I just have to remove myself and say, I didn't have that trauma. So what is that? So I was interested to see you both having daughters, like if that was relatable, or like you said, Chris, like it's just cranked up to 11, ultimately just
Yeah.
to serve the story. If it would it have
Yeah.
worked if she was more subdued? I don't know.
Well, then I think she would have come across not quite as exciting or maybe relatable for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it is
Yeah.
the crank to 11 thing.
Yeah. Well, and also DK's daughter is a little younger than mine, so it's been a while since I've had to deal with any of that. Mine has got a year left before college, so
The heavy sigh.
And also, I wasn't 10 with an iPad.
Right.
Like
None of us were.
the generation
No.
now is I mean, I know I'm very frustrated if I'm trying to just check the comments on Reddit and my wife is asking me a question. It's like,
Yes.
I want to do this instead. But, I can only imagine when your brain is now wired
For
that way.
24/7,
Well,
yeah.
and the other thing is too, like, for example, I think as we speak, Zora is in the front room playing PlayStation. If I walk in there and say, hey, could you get up and, I don't know, get ready for lunch? Could you turn that off for a while? Sometime, not every time. She's pretty well behaved mostly, but sometimes she'll be so engaged and locked in to what she's doing on the TV that it becomes to her the end of the world. If I turn this TV off, it's all over. Like, I have to freak out. There's no other response I could give other than, but I'm in the middle of something. Oh my God, I'm playing Minecraft, whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, I can totally buy it.
Oh yeah. I mean, like I said, with mine, she's a little older, and we were also never one of those that would let her just, to calm her down. We didn't just throw a phone or throw an iPad to
Right,
her.
right.
So, it was, you don't knock the shit off. We're gonna make a trip to the bathroom.
Wait, what for? Wait, what? What are you saying?
You know what I'm talking about.
Soap in the mouth? What? I don't know.
Oh no, it's an ass whooping. And I've never.
Why do you have to do it in the bathroom?
I've never. It's out.
Oh, you mean like
you've
when
never
you're
had
in
that-
public? You mean when you're in
Yes.
public? I thought
Yes.
when you were at home. I was like, what
No,
are you
no, no,
talking
no, no.
about? Okay, yes, I understand that. That happened to me many times. Oh,
And in
okay.
all
I'm
honesty,
sorry.
I've never had to do it once to either one of my kids.
No, I've never had to do
No.
that with Zora. Although we did just leave Walmart once, just left the cart there. Dude, such a good like power move, dad move. She couldn't believe it. She was shocked. She's like, she could not believe it, and she straightened up. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So I recommend that one for sure. They don't think you'll do it. Oh,
No.
but you'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, parenting is hard.
Yeah.
And that's
Good
really
luck,
what we're
guys.
here for.
Good luck.
Yes, this summer we're making several road trips to school. So yeah.
Do you know where she's gonna go? Well, you don't have to say here, but
No. I mean, literally, we've got like 6 schools to visit.
Oh, okay.
So St. Louis
cool.
U is one, so one semi close,
Hmm.
and then the next closest is in Nashville.
That's too far away. Don't like that.
Oh, believe me, Bobby is hating that right now.
I also don't really like Nashville. Last time I was there, I had a terrible time. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just
you had no power at the hotel. You had
The
a
toilet-
shitty roommate.
the toilet was clogged with vomit.
Yeah,
Oh,
that kind of has a
So
tendency to
bad.
turn somebody
That's
off.
chunky. It's
Yeah.
got to be chunky
it
then.
was not
Yeah.
good. Anyway,
Alcohol and room service. Yeah.
That's one way to get you out of the father emotional discussion that
Yeah.
Megan led to.
remembering a terrible time
Yeah.
in Nashville.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything more about Megan that we feel should be discussed?
No, I just think it was a fun movie. I don't think as much hype as it's getting, it's quite to that quality.
Yeah, I'm
But
not
it's got
telling
some-
people exactly.
No, absolutely. Go see it. It's a fun, not super gory horror movie.
I find it to be a lot better than the Child's Play remake. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It cruises. I mean, it's 100 minutes, I think, maybe.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, it's quick.
It moves.
Yeah.
I was a little upset that there wasn't like a 20-minute trial and Gemma ending up in jail. Quite honestly, like it ending with the
Yes.
cop showing up, I thought was kind
Right.
of unsatisfactory.
Family-
Like,
Yeah.
Some family court issues.
yes,
going
this
on.
Yeah.
woman's quite responsible for 4 murders. So
100%. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll pin it on in the sequel. They'll
Maybe
pin it
that'll
on
be the beginning
corporation.
of. Yeah, I would say beginning of number 2.
I don't
is
know.
it? I mean, Child's Play 2, doesn't it open up with the mom being in a psych ward?
That's
like,
the psych
doesn't
ward
she-
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is. Because I like the idea that Megan is just so attached to the little girl that she follows her to Florida, through
Yeah.
the internet or something. Like,
Yes,
there's
and I was
a lot
also
of
thinking for the sequel, there could be a lot of Terminator style fun.
Yeah.
Maybe Megan has been upgraded and mass produced.
I was almost thinking a little Ultron, aspect of it that she downloaded herself and can go anywhere on the web.
Well, I think that's what happened, right? That's
Yeah.
why she's in the
Right.
assistant. But I was gonna say, like, there could be like OG Megan versus like the I don't know, the new version of Megan, like, Liquid
Well, I
Metal
don't think there's
versus
much.
Schwarzenegger, basically.
Well,
I think 100% you're right, because the dude stole the
yeah, I was
the
saying right in the
information.
middle of it.
And that
yeah,
Megan
downloaded
is
that.
is Megan. Like, that
Yeah.
is her whole thing. So it would be paired with the girl.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's
So-
just maybe that Megan just shows up in the night sometime.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
The competitor mass produces something that's like a knockoff, and then she somehow works her way into getting into one of those.
yes.
And
then it's in a factory, and she just mass downloads herself at one point.
Oh, I thought you were going to say she falls into molten lava and gives a thumbs up on the way down.
oh, you want to see her in all of them? I was thinking,
Yeah.
you got to say
An army of Megans?
You got to say
Yeah.
that for the climax, though.
Yeah.
I want to see her turn on in a family, like night of Christmas. New girl gets like the new knockoff Megan,
Right.
Mhm.
and she's the very first one to like that AI Megan jumps into, kills the whole family, steals the station wagon. And
Yeah.
I
Yes.
want credits over her driving down into Florida.
And
Right.
like cool pop music playing.
Yeah.
Yep.
When Megan stole that car.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I want to see her in like a Miata convertible,
Yes.
Yeah.
big
Sunglasses?
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. That really worked for me.
Mhm.
When that whole little scene when the music started and she does her dance, and oh man, that whole bit was really fun.
That or make it like completely ridiculous. Some big old like Hellcat that she's in.
She could be in anything. It doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
Megan. Yeah.
No, I mean like a big old muscle car. This little bitty girl with, like you said, the big old
Oh,
sunglasses.
I thought you meant like she'd be
Oh,
downloaded
no.
into the like the smart brain of a vehicle.
Oh no! Drive and talk about like the
Okay.
no little sports car, but just make
Okay.
it completely
Hey,
ridiculous. There's some
that-
big modern muscle car.
That's kind of interesting to throw her like in a Tesla, where the body's just sort of sitting in the seat, and
Yeah.
she pairs herself with a Tesla and it auto drives or something.
Yeah.
Or
like
she gets
Yeah.
Bruce or something to drive a motorcycle, and she's in a sidecar.
Bruce
Just-
becomes like her henchman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is so fun. You guys, this is fun. Okay.
yeah.
I want to see that happen. I
Well,
do.
see, I think we can do a combination. Bones' idea that like the second one is the first family that gets the mass produced version, and she downloads herself, kills the family, takes the car, she drives down to, but instead of driving to Florida first, she drives to the factory, and the family has a Tesla, and like runs into the factory, and then like at the end of the second one, on the production line,
They're all
a bunch
Megan.
of them, yeah, they're all making, and they all like
A whole
and that's
batch
the-
of them is just Megan. Yeah.
So the third one, you get this army of Megans.
You
Okay.
know, I want to see that.
Do you see a situation where Gemma warns, like, okay, she says, all right, what was the girl's name?
Oh, was it Katie?
Katie?
It
Yeah.
might be
Yeah,
Katie.
the little girl
yeah.
Katie.
So
Yeah.
she tells, like, all right, you are going to go live with the grandparents in Florida. Does it need to be like an off-grid situation where they're out in a cabin because they need to keep her away from like
Maybe
the grids,
so, yeah.
and maybe the only thing out there is a Bruce that like protects her,
Right.
I think would be kind of cool. She's like living this hippie lifestyle with the grandparents, because they even mentioned that her dad's parents were kind of weird. Like he was
Yeah.
kind of a hippie. So
I think that's to set something up. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So they live in some kind of enclave that's
Well, maybe
thrown
not that
back from
weird.
this. Well, thrown back from like the '60s, where it's pretty much just a bunch of hippies with no
commune?
real technology.
Yeah.
Yeah, commune.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
hell yeah. It's like
Yeah.
that Alien 3 that we never got,
Yeah.
I mean, or like the Alien 3 we did get. It could be Megan showing up at a weird, not quite cult situation, like at a commune.
Yeah.
That last Paranormal Activity movie where it's the haunting at
Oh,
the,
yeah.
the Amish community.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good idea. I just think it didn't quite land.
Didn't quite execute. Yeah.
No, I wanted to like it, but it didn't quite get there for me.
No.
All right.
But
We
the
need
concept
Bloomhouse.
itself is good.
Bloomhouse has got to get us in the room.
I know,
just,
right?
Just for a few days.
Just for a few days. Come on, guys.
So many things we could come up with.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we need to make a round table of like hitting the studios, like way back when we did the Star Wars ideas. Oh my God. The shows we came up with.
Sign me up. Sign us all up.
So can I show you guys one thing?
Go
since
for
I'm since I'm on Nerds Geeks,
Yep.
Mhm.
and I know you guys love these cards. So my grandfather was a huge card collector.
Okay.
Sports, NASCAR, everything. This is what he did when he retired from the Navy. And me being an early nerd, he would also collect stuff for me. So the last time I went home to see my parents, my mom pulled this book out for me. And I went through it the other day. I've got the entire collection of the young Indiana Jones.
Oh,
no way.
yes.
So I'm not sure if I can pull one of these up for you.
Oh my God.
Oh, hell yeah.
Dude.
So that whole collection.
Such an underrated show.
I like the show a lot. Yeah.
Let's see if you guys can remember this.
Dude, I was at the card shop in town and they had
Yes.
a bunch of those last week.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah. I saw some of those last week.
Maybe the weirdest series finale ever.
We're all gonna die.
Yeah. I mean, this is the
Oh, Terminator.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have any of those. I'd love to have some of those. That's great.
I love that Cameron gets his own card.
Wait,
Here.
of course he does.
Yeah.
What an asshole.
I mean, this guy was like official. Like he would get doubles.
build a
So if there
picture,
was
yeah,
something in the
On the
back,
back.
and then
Yep.
you've got the checklist.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So-
I have a lot of love for this, a lot of respect for the way this man lived his life.
Oh man. And then this was a big one.
Oh yeah, I have those.
Oh,
I have
yeah.
a lot of those. I may have that whole series.
I'm interested to go through here, and then that's the
Batman.
last of the
If you're listening to audio, it's Batman cards.
Yes.
Batman Returns.
Turns.
So I was stoked. It was like serendipitous that I found that this week, and you had me on.
That's so cool. Yeah, what a nice thing to have. Number one, it's great because it's nerdy, but number two, it's obviously so cool that it was your grandfather's.
Mm-hmm.
That is the cooler. That is so neat. That's awesome. Thanks for showing me that.
Boxes and
Those are
boxes in, I would say, a room larger than where I'm sitting now. Just multiple shelves, everything marked. He would wear a vest every day, like a vest that he had hand sewn, like custom, that had like specific pockets. He had a spoon that he ate with wherever he went. He had a great little pad that would have like what he was looking for. So on Saturdays and Sundays, when he went to the other shops, he was like, I need this, 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 and this. And he would give them like basically a receipt, like find this for me and I'll come back next week and grab it. The guy just took it super serious.
That's what I've been doing at my local place. Write
Yeah.
this down, guys. I'm looking for skeleton warriors. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is cool. Oh, well, thanks for showing that again. I appreciate that.
Oh, no problem.
Really,
I thought if anybody
Those
would
are awesome,
appreciate it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Might be time to rewatch that Young Indiana Jones, particularly with the new one coming soon.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole show once or twice.
Same.
But it's been so long. I could definitely do another watch. But that's not streaming anywhere, is it? No way, is it?
Not that I've seen.
No,
No.
not that I've seen either.
I'm sure we could find it.
We need Thunder in Paradise to stream first.
Let's talk about that before we go.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
As of today, over on the 5-Day Rentals podcast feed, you can get the first. Are you just doing the first episode today, like the pilot movie?
We did the pilot, which is the
Okay.
first 2 episodes,
Right.
technically.
It's-
So
Okay.
Yeah. If you are like us, you're big fans of the show Thunder in Paradise, starring Terry Hulk Hogan, where he has a very special boat
mhm.
and is just delivering justice to people on the seas, I guess.
Yeah, it's Knight Rider meets Baywatch.
It is exactly that. So their coverage of that starts today. I think you're not going to do it weekly, right? It's just going to be
We're going to shoot for monthly.
monthly. Okay.
So at that rate, we should be done at the end of the year.
Okay.
So
perfect. Oh, that is such a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to listen to the first episode. I've got it downloaded. Man, I so can't wait to listen to this and really re-experience every single episode. I did get those episodes, and
okay.
you know, you might have a fun guest in the future that might be someone in this room. Looking forward to that very much.
Yeah.
And
we also might have a kick-ass theme.
Oh yes,
Did by
I did
somebody in this room.
I did a little music for you. It was a pleasure. It really was. So please, I'm begging you, people, to check out the Thunder in Paradise coverage. If you don't know Thunder in Paradise, you're in for a real treat. You really are.
Oh yeah.
We do have to take a few minutes at the top of the episode to kind of lay the groundwork that we understand that Hogan, some things have come to light, you know, in the last few years, but
this is pure nostalgia, though.
It's pure nostalgia. You have to understand that in the 90s, like, the guy was literally a Hulk in entertainment. So, I was blown away by the production value on my rewatches. I was like, holy shit. So we'll see if that holds as the season progresses. But man, I had a lot of fun with it. I watched it 2 or 3 times, and every time would go out and talk to my wife and say, I am embarrassed how much I enjoyed that.
Yes.
Like, they just don't make stuff like that anymore.
No, they really don't. Oh, well, that's really exciting. So please, everyone check that out. And we'll be back in 2 weeks, like always.
Yep.
And but anything else you want to plug, Bones, or anything else?
No, find me there. We just did a cool crossover thing with George, Best Little Whorehouse in Philly. Join his Patreon and check that out. I was on a romantic movie podcast called It Pod to Be You.
Yep.
Talking Inception. Okay. That was one of the most odd but yet enjoyable like podcasting experiences I've had to actually talk about
I haven't heard
good
it yet.
movie in a romantic way. It was cool. Manish is a fun guy. I appreciate him having me on there. So
that's awesome.
Just trying to get out there, man. I love talking shit.
We're always glad to have you. Please come
back.
And
you say the word, buddy.
All right, you got
Penguin.
it.
Put it on the books.
Penguin on the books. You know, you can get us on Twitter, social media of all kinds, but the Discord is where it's at. I know 5 Day Rentals also has a fun Discord you can join.
Yep.
Please, everyone, do those things. And that's it for me.
It's it for me too.
All right,
guys.
Yeah, that's it. Goodbye. See you next time.
All right. See you guys.
All right.